A bicycle in a good repair. Lesson from Unit 9, which is written by Jerome. So, starting from the first paragraph, a man I knew proposed one evening we should go for a long bicycle ride together on the following day, and I agreed. Now, this is the writer who is telling about he made a man, and that man, and they both decided that they will once go for the bicycle ride. I got up early for me. I made an effort and was pleased with myself. He came half an hour late. I was waiting for him in the garden. It was a lovely day. He said, "That's a good looking machine of yours. How does it run?" And then, on the decided time, they met. The writer woke up early, waiting for the man, and the man came half an hour late. And then when he came, he was watching his bicycle, and he asked him, "This machine is looking good. What does it do? How does it run?" "Oh, like most of them," I answered. "Easily enough in the morning, goes a little stiffly after lunch." So he answered him, "It goes easy enough, but after the lunch it goes stiffly." Stiffly means tightened, very tough. He caught hold of it by the front wheel and the fork and shook it violently. But that man was behaving quite immature. I said, "Don't do that, you will hurt it." What he was doing, he was taking his that wheel, and then fork, and then he was shooting that, he was shaking that. So writer told him, "Don't do that, it will hurt you." I did not see why he should shake it. It had not done anything to him. Besides, if he wanted shaking, I was the proper person to shake it. I failed, such as I should have started whacking my dog. It means he was thinking, writer was thinking, what should I do? What he is doing? Why he is shaking this? He said, "This front wheel wobbles." Now what is wobbles? Move unsteadily from side to side. Yes, it was not moving rightly. I said, "It doesn't if you don't wobble it." It didn't wobble, as a matter of fact. Nothing was calling a wobble. He said, "This is the dangerous. Have you got a hammer?" I ought to have been firm, but I thought that perhaps he really did know something about the business. So that man was making some. He was complaining about the wheels, about the bicycle. So the writer thought that the man is very intelligent, very sharp-minded, and he knows very well about the bicycles. I went to the tool shed to see what I could find. So writer went inside to find out some tools. When he came back, he was sitting on the ground with the front wheel between his legs. So when he came, writer came, what he saw, that man was sitting and between his legs there was the trouble about it anymore. You will make yourself tired. Let us put it back and get off. So, now the writer is again saying, just don't make any trouble. Don't be any, I will solve that my problem. We will just let us go. He said, we may as well see what is the matter with it. Now it is out. He thought as thought it had dropped out by accident. So, now that man was telling, no, now it is open, so let's do it right now only. Before I could stop him, he had unscrewed something somewhere and out rolled all over the path some dozens or so little balls. But before the writer was pushing him or saying no, between that time what that man did, he just unscrewed all the machine, all the bicycle. Catch aim, he shouted. Catch aim. We mustn't lose any of them. He was quite excited about them. We grovelled the ground for half an hour and found 16. He said he hoped we had got them all, because if not, it would make a serious difference to the machine. So now they were finding their screw. I put them for safety in my hat. It was not a sensible thing to do, I admit. And writer was taking the screws in his hat. He then said that while he was about, he would see to the chain for me and at once began taking of the gear case. I did try to dissuade him from us. I told him what an experienced friend of mine once said to me solemnly, it's very hardly, if anything goes wrong with your gear case, sell the machine and buy a new one. It comes cheaper. Then now he remembered one of his friends told him that if anything wrong or anything goes wrong with your machine, with your bicycle, then just don't do anything extra. Don't spend extra money on that. You just need to sell that bicycle. He said people talk like that who understand nothing about machines. Nothing is easier than taking off a gear case. But that man who met the writer, he said, no, people, the person talk this rubbish who don't know about the machines, about the bicycle. But I know that very well. I had to confess he was right. In less than 5 minutes, he had the gear case in 2 pieces, lying on the path and was groveling for screws. He said it was always a mystery to him the way screws disappeared. Common sense continued to whisper to me, stop him before he does any more mischief. You have a right to protect your own property from the ravages of a lunatic. Take him by the scarf of the neck and kick him out of the gate. But now that man was creating problems and problems and problems. So the writer who is thinking that I should take that man, that person off from the gate. But I am weak when it comes to hurting other people's feelings, and I let him muddle on. But he is very kind-hearted, soft-hearted, so that he cannot say that to anyone. He gave up looking for the rest of the screws. He said screws had a knack of turning up when you least expected them, and that now he would see to the chain. He tightened it till it could not move. Next, he loosened it until it was twice as loose as it was before. So, what that man was doing, he was just screwing that machine, then repairing that, then again he was making unscrew. Then he said we had better think about getting the front wheel back into its place again. Now, what he is thinking? He is thinking that they should put the front wheel where it should be in the front side. So, we should place that in the wheel and wheel changed place. So now what they did? They changed the places of the wheels. At length, when we get the thing into position and the moment it was in a position, he burst out laughing. And then when it's done, that man started laughing. I said, "What's the joke?" He said, "Well, I am an ass." And then that man said, "I am an ass." Ass means donkey. It was the first thing he had said that made me respect him. I asked him what had led him to the discovery. Then the writer was asked him, "How do you know that you are S?" He said, "We have forgotten the balls." I looked for my hat. It was lying topsy-turvy in the middle of the path. He was of a cheerful disposition. He said, "Well, we must put back all we can find and trust to Providence." So now what he said, we should disposition again this thing. So it was about the part 1. I will explain the second part in the next video. Thank you.